Before you mod your Toyota Tacoma, sleep on it. Not in it, sleep on it. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? And that's right, before you mod your Toyota Tacoma, before you start dropping that credit card number, you should sleep on it. Now, I'm a perfect example of this because there's been a few things, I guess, that I've done on my two Tacomas, both the 2018 that I had and the 2020 that I have now. You know, there's some things to consider, I guess. You know, first of all, does it fit your build theme? Whatever it is that you're looking at doing, you know? For example, if you're looking to have a really mean Tacoma, should you put eyelashes on the headlights? I mean, does that really fit in? Now, of course, all of the things that I'm gonna talk about are relevant to you. I mean, if you like it and that's the way you want it, then you should do it. But from my own experience, I think it's best to sleep on mods. You know, think about it a little bit before you do it. The ones that are more major, you know, consider the extra costs. You know, if you buy something and it's maybe more complicated, are you able to put it on? Do you even want to put it on? Because if not, you're going to have to pay somebody to do it, right? And invariably, when you do something on your truck, it's going to cost more money in addition to whatever the mod is, right? You might need some hardware, you might need some tools, you might need some paint, just the little things. I'll give you an example, and this is very minor, of course. But recently I put the sport bar on my Tacoma, right? And when I got done, I decided that, you know, first of all, I had to buy some hardware because the hardware that it came with didn't fit. Now, I could have gotten a hold of the company and had them send me the right hardware and all that, but I'm not that patient, right? I want it done. But my little example is just paint. You know, when I bought the hardware, an extra cost, it was silver and I wanted it to be black. So I had to buy paint and a paintbrush. These are minor costs. It's not like it was thousands of dollars, but it still was an extra cost, right? There could be things that are more severe, right? I mean, if you lift your truck and you break something more major, you're gonna have to pay to fix that because guess what? It isn't gonna be covered under warranty. Consider the ride quality. You know, I think, to be painfully honest, when I first lifted my truck, I had read that there was, you know, gonna be some kind of a difference, and I had read that there wasn't. So there's all kinds of opinions out there, and I can tell you, again, from my own experience with the Tacoma, there is a difference. The ride quality has suffered because of the lift and the tires, right? It's stiffer, it's firmer. It doesn't mean it's bad, it doesn't mean it's horrible, it just means that it's different, right? So be prepared. If you do something like a lift, for example, you are gonna have a change in your truck. And if you love it the way that it is, you might have some regrets. Can you actually do it? As I mentioned before, do you have the tools to do it? You know, there's nothing worse than starting a mod, especially something that might incapacitate your truck for a little bit. Let's say, I don't know, you're doing your own lift, right? You got all the tires off, you've got the suspension disassembled a little bit, and then you discover some wrench you have doesn't fit. It just won't fit in the space, something simple, right? It stops the whole project. Now you have a choice. Either, if it's your only vehicle, you can put the whole truck back together. What a bummer that would be. Maybe call somebody else to come over and pick you up and take you to Lowe's or Home Depot or somewhere so you can pick up the right tools, or cut corners. And I think a lot of people do that. I haven't had to do that yet, but you certainly don't want to start cutting corners with something like that, right? You want it to be right. So you got to make sure you have the right tools and stuff to do the job if indeed you're going to do it yourself. And if you're not, then you have to figure out or find a good shop to do it, right? Somebody that you trust, somebody that will do it correctly. That can be a whole nother challenge, especially if you're just getting into modding your Tacoma and don't have a lot of familiarity with the shops and people around you. Can you finish it? You know, is it something that you can actually follow on through with, right? Can you get it done in the amount of time that you have so that you can have access to the truck should you need it? I mean, let's say you start a mod, a major mod. Doesn't even really have to be a major mod. It could have been the sport bar for me. But let's say you start that mod on a Saturday night, right? Thinking, well, you've got what's left of Saturday night and all Sunday, and you got to be to work on Monday, right? And it's your only vehicle. Make sure that you have enough time to get it done. I always allot myself at least sometimes 3 or 4 times as long as something is supposed to take, just to make sure that I can get it done, because you always run into little hiccups, little things that add time. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist when I do things anyway. So I know it's going to take me longer to do than most people because I pay attention to detail, the little things. I think those are what really give you a professional looking job when you're done, right? Can you go back to stock? Are you going to keep the truck forever? You know, at some point, if you're going to trade it in, and if you're like me, you start getting that scratch about a week after you buy whatever it is that you bought. It's a sickness, I don't know. But can you take it back to stock? That's important for a couple reasons. One, you've got a lot of money potentially sitting in the mods on your truck like I do. You don't want to give those to the dealer, right? They're not going to give you a bunch of money. They're certainly not going to give you what you paid for those. So you can pop them off and sell them in the aftermarket, right? The other thing is your truck's not worth anymore. You know, it might even be worth less depending on what kind of mods that you do, because the dealer, as I've mentioned in other videos, they want a generic truck, right? You may love the mods and things that you put on there, but the next person may not, and it kind of shrinks their group of potential buyers, right? So it might actually make your truck worth a little bit less. Lastly, and this is all based on personal preference and personal opinion, will it be gaudy to you? You know, I've used the example before of wheels. Some people put really low profile, small wheels on their Tacomas, right? Have you ever seen that? To me, it looks horrid, gaudy. I don't like it. They're usually chrome, bright, lots of shiny chrome, and I think it looks horrible. Again, depends on you. You've got to set it up the way that you like it. Something that I did on my 2018 had to deal with the trim on the inside. I started adding a lot of those stick-on applique decals in carbon fiber. I was putting them everywhere. I had them on the dash. I had them on the center console area. I had them on the door, not the rests, but where the controls are, around the controls. They were everywhere. And then one day I was looking at the inside of my truck and I thought, you know, this looks kind of tacky. You know, you can tell they're decals, they're add-ons, they're appliques, if you will, and it kind of looks tacky to me. I wasn't really digging it. So I thought I would take them off, right? Well, fortunately and unfortunately, they had really good adhesive on them, right? You couldn't just pull them off. A lot of adhesive was left on those plastic bits and pieces. And I thought, you know, if I try to clean that off, I'm probably going to damage the piece and it's going to look worse than it even does with all this fake carbon fiber all over the place, right? So I ended up pushing the corner back down once I saw how it was coming off and left it the way that it was. I sold it, I traded in that truck, and obviously it did sell, so the next person that bought it must have liked it. I'll stress again, this is personal preference. If you think it's gaudy, then you are probably going to have a problem like I did. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about a few things. You know, before you do mods to your Tacoma, sleep on it. You know, give it a day or two and then see if you feel the same way about that mod. Are you willing to do all these things? Are there things you might have to sacrifice if you do that mod, like ride quality with lifts, for example? Let me know if you've ever put something on that you really regretted. And even worse, is it something that you couldn't change? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, if you're interested, check out my other 2 channels. First of all, I have RobMotive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator, sitting right there. Also, RobMotive Civic, dealing with my Honda Civic Sport Hatch and Honda Civic Type R adventures. Going to be more stuff coming to that channel too, eventually. Also, don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.